Hey guys, the time has come for me to start organizing my collection. I can't just keep piling sets on top of sets out here on the back porch and inside, especially since I've been refinishing some of them. I don't want to damage the refinished surface by putting a set on top of another set. Even with padding in between, it's still a possibility. Plus, when they're back here, nobody can see them, and it's not temperature controlled in this environment. So I've been looking around at home improvement centers to see what I can come up with. And TVs are a bit of a challenge, as I can illustrate in here with some more sets. One, they're deep, typically about 18 inches deep. That's just the nature of the picture tubes. And more importantly, they're very heavy. Typical set, 50 to 80 pounds for something like this. And then beasts like this RCA are pushing 100 pounds. So typical bookcase like this, well, first off, commonly shelves come in 8 to 14 inch depths, which is not deep enough, and 2, they can't hold anywhere near their weight. Fine for radios, but not so good for TVs. So here's what I came up with. It's a heavy-duty steel shelving system, intended more for garages or workbenches, but I'm going to spruce it up a little bit so I can use it inside. So, sturdy steel construction, 5 shelves. It's well, there's a dimension, so 24 inches deep, which is perfect. 48 inches or 4 feet wide, which will allow me to get 2 and I hope 3 sets per shelf for some of my narrower sets. And a 4,000 pound capacity, as long as it's distributed evenly, which is plenty sufficient for my needs. I haven't opened the box yet, but from the picture I can see it's composed of some angle steel on the corners, with shelves that are adjustable. So my first concern was, from the picture here, the bottom of this shelving system is just steel. Great if you're just going to put it on a concrete floor, but I have hardwood floors, so there's no way I'm going to put a couple thousand pounds on steel and put it on a hardwood floor. So while I was at the home improvement center, I found these, which are nice hardwood stock oak pieces. They had them in pine for half the price, but I really wanted to go with something that can has a little more strength to its own with oak. So what I'm planning on doing, drilling a hole in the center of these blocks, mounting this onto it, and then putting these on the inside corner of that angle iron at each corner. So essentially make 4 wooden feet, and then I'll put some felt pads underneath these as well. I've got a drill press out here, so I think the first step is to locate the center on each of these and drill what looks to be maybe a 3/8 inch hole. If I really cared about removing these, I would drill a hole and then set in a threaded steel, like, I'm not sure what they call them, but like a nut, and hammer it in so I can thread this on. But since I don't plan on ever taking these apart, I'm just going to drill a hole so this will sink in and then glue it in place. I've got my drill press set up to drill holes into these wood blocks. If you ever need to find the center of a square or a rectangle, a real simple way to do it is to simply put a straight edge along the corners, draw a mark, do the same on the other corner, and where the lines intersect, that's dead center. So, drill a hole. I think that's deep enough. Get the wood block with the metal part in it and see if it fits. Alright, perfect fit. 1 down, 3 more to go. Alright, that went well. I've got myself 4 feet. Now for the unpleasant part. Before I can erect these shelves, I've got to clear out this whole area where I'm going to be erecting them, which means these sets have to go And once I put the shelves up, I won't be able to get at these windows anymore. So I'm going to clean the windows, clean the blind. I'm just about done cleaning out the area where that new shelving system is going to go. When I got to my RCA 630 TS on its table, which is very, very heavy, and just as I was about to slide it, I remembered that I never put any pads under this table. And I'm glad I remembered that, because this has those very nasty, evil metal caps on the bottom. Especially nasty when they get all rusty and corroded like this one. If I had just slid this with its 100+ pound weight on it, it would have really gouged into my floors. So these have got to go. Just about every old table and chair cabinet I've picked up has had these metal caps underneath them. Maybe they had some sort of felt on the bottom back in the day, but I don't think so. I think they were just chrome plated, and I don't know, maybe people didn't care about their floors much back then, but I've found that if you slide these on, even a floor that's covered with polyurethane, a really tough surface, it's going to scratch it. To get these out, generally have found that the best thing to use is a penknife to kind of get it wedged under there and start prying it out carefully. Don't bend too hard. One, you might damage your knife or break the blade off, and you don't want to dig down too hard and put a gouge in the side of your chair or table leg. This is what they look like. They're basically like a bottle cap with 3, sometimes 4 metal prongs. They would put these down like so and hammer them into the bottom of the legs. Once you get them out, sand this down so you get a clean wood surface, and then I put felt pads on them. Unfortunately, I don't have any square ones on hand, just round, so I'll have to trim this down so it's flush with the legs, and then I'll peel off the backing, and the adhesive will hold it on pretty good. Alright, once that's done, I can slide this out of here and then start assembling the new shelving system. I got the RCA stand all squared away, and I finished cleaning out the area I'm going to put the shelving system in. I even went so far as to wash the floor. It took me a little while to figure out the shelving system, but once I did, it's actually quite simple. The vertical rails have these holes cut into them that kind of look like skulls, and the rails have sort of like pop rivets in them, and these simply fit into those holes, and then you slide them down to lock them in place, like I've done on the side. So no tools required. Maybe they suggest like a wooden mallet or a hammer and a wood block if they're a little bit stiff, but they seem to fit together quite smoothly. And here's how my feet are going to work out. The only downside is I lose a little bit of height because I have to keep this up about 6 inches before the first shelf. I may end up cutting these down 3 or 4 inches to give myself so get that lower shelf down a bit further, but for now I'll just go with it the way it is and see how things work out. Now the first section of shelving isn't quite that tall, and that puzzled me at first, and then I realized that they include these gizmos which allow you to stack a second tier on top. So this will go something like this. I'm not sure exactly how they lock together. Oh, I see they go on the outside. Okay, there's sort of a slot there. So I'll build 2 identical units and then stack one on top of the other, basically. So I guess will take too much longer to put together. Things are progressing nicely. I finished putting in the first shelf and put one TV on here just to see how high up the next shelf should go. So I think I will have to cut down these legs a bit because I'm just losing too much height, because I probably won't be able to get all 5 shelves on if I keep up at this rate. Some of these sets are a little bit shorter, but not a whole lot shorter than this. So I'll probably cut that in half so I can get about 2 more notches on the shelf. I guess my only minor quibble, which is very minor, is that the shelf material itself is particle board with some sort of like alligator skin finish on it, and it's already shipped out in a few spots as soon as I opened it. I suppose it could be painted black or something like that. I kind of like this pattern. I just don't like the material itself because, as you can see from these chips already, it's a pretty weak, cheap material. But considering I paid 60 bucks for the entire shelving system, I guess I can't complain too much. If I ever wanted to, I could get some real solid, like oak or poplar, a wood, and make some real shelves. So my back's starting to complain already, but I'm going to keep going and at least put a few more shelves in and a few more sets up. It's been a couple days and I've done a bit of rearranging, and I ended up fitting 11 sets on here with the weight distributed pretty evenly. I did not need to cut the legs down after all. So here's a quick tour of what I've got on here. Bottom left is the, well, what I dub the Frankenroller. It's a Bakelite cabinet from one model Motorola with a chassis from a different model inside of it. I wasn't sure about the knobs when I got this set. Well, since then I received a couple new old stock Motorola knobs to fit inside of these other knobs. I think it'll look real nice. Furthermore, I think I will pull this chassis out after I record this video and take a closer look and maybe even try powering it up tonight. Next to that is a Crosley, I think it's a 407 with an unusual continuous tuning mechanism. Same with the one above that. It's a Strummer Carlson TC10 with another odd continuous tuning mechanism. Neither one of these has been restored. I haven't done much of anything with them other than check the picture tubes. I have a couple videos on my channel about these sets if you're interested. Next to that, some Numicron clocks in the shape of a TV. And then we have an Admiral 20X12, I believe. It's very similar. In fact, the insides are almost identical to the Admiral 20X122 that's in some other videos. That's the full, like 3 or 4 foot tall, big Bakelite cabinet model. Then we've got a bunch of Motorola's. 7 VT2. And I think it's a 9T1 that has the 8-inch picture. The rest of these are all 7-inch. And then 2 VT71s. And up top there, I think it's just, oh, I don't know, 7 VT5 or something like that. That's the suitcase model. And flanking that on either side is a GE locomotive and a similar GE, but this one's in a wood cabinet. A sad thing is, only 3 of these sets are actually working. The rest are awaiting restoration. The only 3 that are actually done is this Motorola, this one, and this one. The others, well, pretty much all of these, I've cleaned up the outsides pretty well, but haven't gotten around to doing the insides. Hopefully that'll change soon. So now that I'm far better organized, I can actually move around my place, and I hopefully will start focusing more on actually getting these sets functioning again. So if you've got some radios, TVs, or anything heavy for that matter, and you want to display them or organize them, I highly recommend the shelving system. Inexpensive, you can really hold the weight and goes up easy. That's all for now.